Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're going to be jumping down into the world of XRP, taking a look at what's been going on most recently and what we would expect to happen next. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button, I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, go ahead and check it out, linked in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there, so why not go ahead and check it out. Let's make a start with this one though. We'll keep it nice and brief, just give you kind of the ins and the outs of what I think is going on when it comes to the price action of XRP. Now, I'm recording this approximately 6 hours ahead of when it's going live on YouTube, so we'll see how accurate this becomes over time. So let's take a look, right? So here we have XRP paired up with USDT on the hourly, and Binance is our data source. Now, we had this push to the upside, which was fantastic, great. It does look very corrective in the way that it formed with an impulsive ending, so 335 corrective structure up to this upper end here, and it does look like we're starting some kind of potential zigzag pattern to the downside. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into this one just over here. Okay, so I still think we've got a potential move upwards, but I think we have to kind of correct down a little bit first. Okay, that's kind of where my mind is at the moment on this one. So it looks like if we just kind of reflect on this, we're going to have this three-wave structure here, and confirmation of this being complete would happen if we drop down into a new local low, lower than 38.09 cent. Okay, so we know where the parameters are. So if we drop down, which is looking like it's starting to a little bit here, lower than that 38.09, then of course, you know, we're done, and that's kind of the local high being just tapped out up here at 39.16, which is great. So we are overbought on the stochastic, so that leads us into thinking that the idea is that we are going to move down. You can kind of see that we're resting on an hourly 200 EMA at the moment and kind of getting wedged in between the 50, which is the red line just at the top there. Now, the structured move here does appear to be correct. I say corrective, it's actually more impulsive to the downside. It looks like we kind of have a wave 3 situation just in here, and I don't want to do some sense checks just in this diagonal structure here over to this one just here. We won't hit the 1.618. Inside here we have a kind of very, very tight. If I actually bring this into a 15-minute for a second, right in here, we can kind of see a small little wave 4 just there. So it looks to me like we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 like this. We have our diagonal. So all in all, it looks like we go kind of 1, 2, 3. All of this is 4, and then we've got to come down into 5. This brings us up into our hourly just here, so we can kind of then see how that mapped out, like so. Then if we take our local high, assuming that we've kind of finished with wave 4, which is no guarantee, by the way, we can of course still push this a fraction higher if we needed to, and I would say we'd have the potential to kind of come up close to the wave 1, but we wouldn't be allowed to cross it. So we wouldn't be allowed to cross anywhere close to 39.43. Anything higher than that would basically invalidate a 5th wave movement. So we'll assume that we kind of have finished with the 4th wave because we don't want to push it too high. We'll see if this actually plays out or not. So our 5th wave expectations to the downside, at least on the shorter time frame here, would put us in approximately 37.44 through to the slightly higher range of 37.84. Let's go ahead and just remove that off there, and you can kind of see that this is where our 5th wave expectation would go. Like I've said many times before though, we can't just do 5 waves randomly in the middle of a chart. We have to kind of think about where these 5 wave structures appear. They appear in zigzag patterns, they appear in flat corrections, and they appear in impulsive positions. So if we start with 5 waves, we end in 5 waves. Okay, if we but we can of course end in 5 waves separately to starting with 5 waves, so kind of bear that in mind. I think this is a zigzag pattern though, so I think we come down here, we finish off the 5th wave high, we bounce back up into these highs that we're currently existing in at the moment, and then come down a little bit lower, but keep this low at the bottom here around 36.05, not looking to break that. And then all in all, I do think that we end up with a structure that is another A, B, and C structure, taking us back up into our supply zone slightly longer term. So essentially it looks like this. It looks like we've got a lot of volatility to be expected here, slightly further down at the moment, correcting our hourly chart into the oversold area. Then we pump back up again, taking us up into an overbought hourly and possibly even 4 hourly chart. And then we go down again just a fraction further. And then we kind of finish that off by coming down and basically correcting our stochastic RSIs and just kind of get us back down into these low ranges that we had consolidation on before, above the kind of 36.4. Anything above there would be pretty acceptable. Then, of course, we push back up into our supply zone, and this is where everything should be done. and we'd be ready for a bigger move to the downside. Essentially, all we've really done here is kind of got ourselves coiled up right up in this upper range. If I zoom out far enough, you can kind of just see we've kind of just found ourselves with this previous area of demand that has now become our supply zone, and we're kind of caught up in this range here, failing to kind of hit those higher ranges. So at the moment, that's kind of where that looks. Now, if we bring this up into our daily chart, we can of course see that we were tracking this trend line to the downside where we had multiple touches on it. Recently, we kind of broke above it, but we're riding this trend line essentially. If we can take a look, we got rejected on the daily 200 EMA, and we're basically just dancing around on this trend line. So this is not a good sign because we were unable to really fight our way through it, but we have got momentum to the upside, so I imagine that we're going to continue to kind of bounce around here, but I do think we're likely to break down at some point soon. Now on the weekly chart, we are just underneath the overbought area, so again, not looking overly positive, and we also have a bit of a death cross occurring with our 50 EMA and our 200 EMA just on here as well. We should kind of bear that in mind. Now if I come over, I think it's this one, yeah, this one here on our weekly. Yeah, we had a death cross here on our 50 moving average and our 200 moving average. That's happened here in December of 2022, and you can see that we didn't actually go down after we had this death cross. We actually went up, and so we're probably potentially still waiting for that fallout. Basically, lower term price movement has crossed below longer term price movement, looking bearish. On the daily, we can see that we had another negative cross over here in December of 2022, looking for potentially a setup of a positive one, but again, we're not seeing negative price action or positive price action on these crosses as it stands at the moment. From a smart money concepts point of view and perspective, we can see that there's a lot of upper resistance and selling pressure at the moment, just up in this higher range that we were just at. This basically is 39.63 through to that slightly higher range of 40.49, and you can see lots of selling there. Now again, we have that kind of zigzag pattern in play, as I said, up here potentially tapping into this slightly higher range, and then coming back down into those kind of lows that we're talking about. All in all, I do think this is a bigger corrective structure back to the upside though, where we're likely to kind of get that break to the upside. We have seen a change of character. It's not unusual once we print these change of characters to come back down. We've tapped the equilibrium area. You can kind of see that right in the chart there. Let me just bring that in back in. Equilibrium is right here, this gray box, just below the change of character. We've kind of bounced up a little bit, but my expectation is that we do come down just a fraction further back into where these demand areas are. Again, there's a little bit of demand down here at 37.65, so it'll be interesting to see whether or not we can chew through that and come down a little bit lower, or whether that becomes a support line. We can also see that there is some discounted range down here, so I'm not expecting to break that. At the moment, it is a strong low, and we also have a weak high, basically indicating that we're likely to see some break to the upside. We have got a change of character, but we haven't had a break of structure yet. That will come in due course, and so people sometimes jump the gun with the change of character and do not wait for the break of structure. A break of structure is a confirmation of a change of character has occurred, and the difference in direction has been indicated, i.e. we were coming down, we had our change of character here, we had the break of structure, and then we're continuing down. Here we've had a change of character, but we haven't broken the structure yet. Okay, so there's no guarantee that we do move up, although there is a change of character here in the same way that there was on this side. You can see here we had a change of character, but we were unable to kind of break the structure, and instead we just came down, tumbling back down again. So kind of keep this in mind. We had the change of structure. We haven't broken the structure though, so until we do, we don't get confirmation of that move upwards. Instead, our break of structures and our change of characters here are still technically valid as well. So we're in that kind of state of flux. Be cautious with the market. It can go in either direction. My thoughts are, of course, that we jump down before pushing back up again. We might get a break of structure at that point, and if we do, then we can of course ride that a little bit higher if we needed to. But for now, it does look like we have a lot more bearish things on the radar than we do bullish, so we'll kind of keep that in the back of our heads. Other than that, guys, I think everything else is actually pretty much reasonably kind of covered here on XRP, and we're kind of just waiting out to see how this is going to play next. Overall, though, I am pretty optimistic about XRP slightly longer term, but again, you know, no one really knows when that lawsuit is going to kind of get concluded. I think it's going to happen, you know, at some point in probably, you know, late Q1 or early Q2. It's hard to really say, like anyone's guess really. Let me know when you think it is going to kind of get settled or come to conclusion, whether that's a win, draw, lose, settle, whatever, in the comments down below. When do you think that is likely to occur? I do think it's coming around the corner though, or it should just be around the corner. It's been going on for a while now. I think the judge has everything that he kind of need, but it'll be interesting to kind of see how it does play out and what that might mean for the crypto space overall. Other than that, guys, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.